провел этот первый сложный, нереально трудный доклад, который, да, идет обычно после обеда, так же, как Томаш справился с докладом, который был рано утром. Я сам только что пошел, сбросил с себя вот эти вот путы постовиденного состояния и, надеюсь, смогу рассказать не то, что собираюсь рассказать в плане контента, а еще смогу вам донести вот тот inspiration, который на самом деле был у меня в голове и есть сейчас. Я сразу оговорюсь, мне тяжело будет это рассказывать на русском, поэтому, если вы не возражаете, я тоже переключусь на английский. Причина очень простая. Я никогда не пользовался Project Management, Agile, Scrum, Kanban, Lean в русскоязычном варианте. То есть многие термины я просто не знаю, как переводятся в принципе. И лучше я буду говорить на английском, чем говорить на суржике. Честно скажите мне, кто успел прочитать аннотацию? Okay, so we have at least 5 people who are sure that this speech is not going to be about the applications that are used in project management. There is last call for those who are willing to listen about the applications used by project managers. You have last chance to switch the stream or to stay and be surprised. I was inspired with a book by Niall Ferguson. Who have heard about this guy? Who read it? Niall Ferguson, the publicist, the historian, who wrote a couple of books, up to 5 of them. One is Money Ascending, and the other one, which actually inspired me, is called The Civilization. The point of the Civilization book is that he says the West and the rest. So Niall Ferguson was comparing the Eastern civilization, their culture, their progress that was aggregating through thousands of years, and then the Western civilization came and really took a lead in just 2 centuries. And he called 6 killer apps of the Western civilization that allowed it to take a lead over the Eastern one. And this was my inspiration to give you a couple of words about it. So actually, I'm going to give you a really short background of what are those 6 killer apps are in terms of Eastern and Western civilization and how Niall Ferguson formed them, defined them. And I made some sort of analysis, which I don't want you to treat as final truth or the silver bullet. I decided to compare how traditional project management looked like, what Agile and Agile project management brings to our attention and to our tool set nowadays, and what would be the killer apps, I succeeded with only 5 of those, for so-called modern project management. So it's kind of futuristic forecasting speech and just sharing my ideas with you. So these killer apps are the pillars of prosperity ownership. According to Ferguson, prosperity is wealth plus stability plus innovation. If we miss something, we're not prosperous enough. And those were competition, science or science revolution, property or rule of law, work, medicine, consumption. So that's just what initial killer apps are. Without those, Eastern civilization will be leading still. And the reason why that book was written, and it is really linking a lot with how I feel modern management is developing, that starting from 1989, West starts to slow down. Or so-called, West was, in 1979, was 30 times richer than East. Now, at 2011, it's only 5 times richer. That's why it says it's slowing down. So, why these things were called apps? Because Ferguson said that competition and, let's say, rule of law, it's a kind of application that one or another civilization downloaded and applied and started using, and through that started benefiting from it. So, what is the modern project management downloading right now? I made a small research, not myself, but the best thing I figured out, there is a cool agency and consultancy called 28 Strategy Execution. You can find the link to full article in the presentation as well. But they are actually defining top 10 trends in actual project management. So let's split it in three levels, sorry. Traditional, current, modern, agile, whatever, and modern or future project management. So these are trends of the current project management. You know that design thinkers, complexity, upskilling talents, fundamentals of change management, which is actually agile, the change-driven, or I don't know, I'm going to add something. I used to call it not change-driven, but actually risk-driven. And many other things, like global teams and distributed work. Yeah, we're all moving to distributed teams and so on and so forth. And the key point here I want to focus on, and that actually formed the second part of my report or idea sharing, the spread of project management into non-PM areas. And this is going to be one of the killer apps of modern project management that I defined. Do you have any questions or remarks so far, or would you like me to proceed right away? I want it to be a discussion, so if you feel upset or confused with something, you know, like say now or keep calm forever. So the first one is strategizing. I'm going to stick to strategizing because traditional project management was focused on project success. Like Empire State Building, like Titanic. This is a thing, we do it, we accomplish it, we start earning money from it, or any other value. But actually, traditional project management was mostly about money itself. The Agile, I didn't put Agile as a philosophy or Agile project management here. So that's a middle layer where we are working right now. And thanks to Dmitriy, my speech is way easier today because you did a huge job by linking and aligning Agile as philosophy and classical traditional project management as a framework both together. So when I say Agile, I talked about Agile project management or the mix of those. Was focused on product. And you know that for the last couple of years, the trends on the conferences is talking about not how to succeed with a project, but how to succeed with a product. And the product life cycle, so not only project and product scope, but the product life cycle may contain multiple projects. So talking about product, we're going to the other level. And still, the product is not the top. The strategy is the upper level we should think about. And I think that future of project or modern project management should stop thinking about projects and actually will stop thinking about products. It will start thinking about strategy, more global, more general things. And you probably figure out already from this thing, strategy over project and product. This is the way I'm going to form or define the rest of the killer apps. It's going to be our famous Agile Manifesto format. And I'm not pretending or attempting for the glory of creating modern project management manifesto, but let's see how it works. The second killer app, it's called Employee Strength. It includes actually developing soft skills, but traditional project management was focused on skills per responsibility area, which means that I am the Java developer, I know Java, and I know how to write code. I am the ATQC, I know how to write automated tests, and so on. Focus on cross-functionality of the team is what Agile about. But then, if we want to move further, we have to focus on non-project management people, so people who have never been linked, who have never covered that responsibilities, becoming capable to do PM operations or PM operational activities and cover that responsibilities. We are already in transition to that because we have the managerial layer, and then there is another layer of so-called project leadership or team leadership on the level above. And this project leadership or team leadership is actually the transition phase to the whole team and any team member becoming capable to perform that managerial activities. How I formed that, I think that we should not start making or forcing people to do everything at once. The first thing that I'm not saying team member, but employee of our company, because right from the previous killer app, we are thinking from the standpoint of the strategy now, has to be capable to be a non-project management change manager. Meaning, we speak already that every team member or every team has authority to initiate change. That's Scrum, not even Agile level, just Scrum as a framework. So what we want to do, we want people to be capable not only initiate change, but also take a lead of the change they initiated. And this requires every person up to the very lowest level of responsibility in the organization to be strategized, knowing where we go, and being capable to perform that. So non-project management change managers over traditional project managers. The PMs, we'll talk about it later. I'm going to share my thought where should PMs strive or lead. The next killer app is treating society as customer. Before proceeding with it, I want to just stress once again that everything I'm mentioning here is not applicable or is enormously hard to implement on the level of the team, on the level of the project, and even on the level of the portfolio. These killer apps are mostly institutional and should be applied on organizational level. So again, the point of me standing here in front of you today is not to tell you how to live further, is to share the thoughts and ideas I made or discovered making this research, and make you leave this room in the end of the day thinking that we should not apply Agile or project management or any other philosophy, framework, methodology as it is today. Because when we start applying it as is now, we're already 2 steps behind. Applying something, we have to think how it will look at the time we're done with developing our own. And this is what is it about. And again, why is it organizational and institutional level? So traditional project management was focused on top managers. Do you know what is golden parachute? Yeah, some thoughts? Yeah, so every top manager was focused on getting the golden parachute, a huge amount of money when leaving their job. Agile is focused on organizational mindset. So we have not only project or team agility, we have also business agility level. But still, it's about organizational mindset. What should change a lot? Agile says deliver value, make more than Agile says make customer happy, make people awesome. So heart of Agile and more than Agile as the follow-ups on classical Manifesto. What I think is going to happen next, companies and organizations and people inside should start treating society and geopolitics as their customer. We can make single user or a group of customers happy with our product. But if we're thinking about our strategy, we have to involve into geopolitics level. That's what actually huge corporations do through having the lobbyists in the councils. They already do that. And what will have in the end? Social responsibility over customer satisfaction. So we should think not only about satisfying a small group of people who are the users of our product. We should think how that customer satisfaction, oh, sorry, I missed the hand. How would that customer satisfaction impact the human society? This is going to be the next move. And actually, classical PMI already says a lot of things about social responsibility of the companies. The fourth one, creating what will be. I would say it's more about metrics, how we understand our attitude to what are we measuring. I'll try to be short here. So traditional project management focused on project. Are we on track? Are we not on track? Red, amber, green indicators of whatever we decide to measure. Agile focus on product, mostly, right? Return of investment as a primary product owner, metric or KPI, whatever. And modern project management is going to focus on strategy. Seems like I'm duplicating what I said before. But I would say that the future, and it's already here in some of the companies, for example, in SoftServe it is, we are moving from KPIs to OKRs. Objectives and key results, which are targeting to measure what will be developed instead of key performance indicators that are measuring whether we succeeded or not. So did we do everything in the past or not? So OKRs allows us to think way ahead in the future instead of measuring our failures or mistakes in the past. So that's another killer app is, actually it can be summed up into the right goal setting. But it should be a process approach and it should be the organizational level approach. Another one is toolset manipulation. It sounds strange, but what I figured out is that focus on results achieved rough metrics. Everyone knows that. That could be on project level, on product level, whatever. Agile focuses on transparency. So Agile starts manipulating with toolset. We don't say what are we going to do. We're just saying we can measure whatever, but we will do it in transparent way. Yes, we can use just a Google Doc Excel spreadsheet. No specific tools. On the other hand, we declare it's transparent. And what's going to be with modern project management? Focus on comforting business needs in one place. Now, multiple of the tracking tools are developed through the Agile-based or Agile-driven frameworks. But what is inside the tracking tools? The tracking tools are targeting all the levels. And today we touched upon version 1, the Scale Agile framework targeting tracking, actually tool, that is already now scaled up to portfolio, program and portfolio management levels. And these tools actually are going to define the processes we use. So speaking about the manipulating with tool set, I want to say that before we were developing tools that will match or fit this or that framework or methodology. Like Trello is good for almost everything for the small team. Jira is good for Scrum, whatever else. Version 1 is good for Scaled Agile framework, but we already can use any other thing there. So manipulating with the tracking tools that will cover all the layers will be the future. So there will be multi-layered tools that will allow us to apply any kind of SDLC through them. And summing them all up, that's what I was supposed to call the Modern Management Manifesto, is strategy over project and products. I'm just going to read it roughly because I see no way of speaking it in less words. Non-PM change managers over traditional project managers, social responsibility over customer satisfaction, and objective key results over KPIs, and multi-layer tools over team or managerial-only tools. These are the killer apps that are already being downloaded by the large organizations and the companies worldwide. So these I would state or allocate as future is already coming. These items are already applied in part of the organization. So we are already in transition through this. What I would say we should download next to achieve that success, to support that transition to modern management and so forth. So, and these are dedicated PMO with incorporated Agile Center of Excellence. I don't know to what terminology are you used to, whether to call PMO as PM Functional Office or to call PM like Project Management Center of Excellence. It doesn't matter, but to support that institutional and organizational changes or achievements later on, you have to set up the authority and organizational support in your company. And that should be a Project Management Functional Office. And two highlights here, it should incorporate Agile in it. Otherwise, people will start falling apart, and we're going to invite Dmitriy to help us to unite things back together. It's not going to work separately. And again, from the strategic standpoint, project management and SDLC frameworks should be targeting same direction. The other part is focus PMs on crowdsourcing of ideas. I mentioned that slightly, that we are going to delegate the operational managerial activities down to the every simplest or most junior employee in the company. We're going to make them capable to perform operational activities. But what is the essential skill that project manager, or let's say Scrum Master, leader of the project, leader of the product, has in its capacity, or like has in its tool set? It's allocating ideas and applying them wherever it is possible. So what we expect our project managers to do when they delegate to the low levels, they should be crowdsourcing ideas. They are good at gathering or allocating different things from different places, putting them together and making them work for the benefit of the project. So crowdsourcing ideas should become one of the most important activities of the modern project manager, because he's going to be strategizing. Another part, sales change management capabilities to lower organizational levels. We just covered that, yeah, with delegating below. Replace operational PMs with sales PMs. Talking that PM operations are going to move to the lower levels. What do we want our PMs to do? Or our leads, or our Agile transformation leaders, whoever you call that in the organization. We want that people to be a salespeople, but not sales in terms of sales hunters adding new customers to the, like inviting new customers to the company, but PMs with sales profile, so they can scale and extend the strategy across the company up to portfolio level and above. So they should be more involved in business. And what else do we need? Add more entrepreneurial PMs. So we should switch from operational project management profile to sales plus entrepreneurial PMs. Because to make the crowdsourcing of ideas, they should be not the idea generators, but they should be the people who are pulling the ideas through the whole life cycle, like as a product, from ideation to its death. So that's why our core of our companies will become will consist of two types of PMs: sales profile PMs and entrepreneurial profile PMs, and that will support that visibility level of social responsibility and allowing the whole company to move towards the strategy that is set. And the right strategy will be supported with the right objectives and key results instead of KPIs. Yeah, and the last one is actually also part of Agile and how it's moving. Agile is about iterative adoption of different practices. We already mentioned today, and again, Lionel, thank you, you called that whatever works, right? So we are already working with the frameworks or processes or practices that we already call whatever works, that fits or matches our project the best. So stop adapting practices. We're going to generate them inside the teams, inside the organizations. Start adapting strategies and visions, because this is what we want our leaders, our coaches, our managers to do. That's why we want to make them more entrepreneurial, and that's why we should strive to make managers more sales plus entrepreneurial, because they have to go above the level of SDLC frameworks, practices, and methodologies. They are going to be responsible in front of society. They are going to develop the strategy of the companies, and the strategy of the project should feed the strategy of the company. And for this, they will have, in the rapidly changing environment, they will actually have no time to develop their strategies and their visions from the scratch on their own. So what we should change in our mindset is to start adopting strategies and visions and making mixes of them in future, like we already started doing with frameworks. Yeah, and I mentioned once again, this should all be institutional and organizational. And that's it, and we can start doing that or any other kind of constructive discussion.
Thank you for the presentation. That was really interesting. I just got one question. You mentioned what you adopted some of these practices. Yep.